the decade, or I would say the century, the humanity has faced, and how the CSIR has been under his leadership taken this challenge uh, and provided the solutions for the benefits of the mankind and the country. I take on the behalf of all of you uh, the opportunity to welcome Honorable DGCSAR Dr. Mande, my fellow director Dr. Chandrasekhar, Director ICT, and Dr. Vinay Kumar, Director CCMB. You also know that in the recent times how CSAR has done at the different front through different media, social platform, as well as while meeting with the different heads of the institutes and the directors. I will not come between you and our dear head of family, Dr. Mande, but before that, I also take the privilege of inviting Dr. S. Chandrasekhar, Director of CSIR ICT, to give his initial remark when we are meeting, though virtually, across the three laboratories, a very unique kind of the meeting which we do not have often. Dr. Chandrasekhar, may I request you?
Friends, good afternoon. Greetings to Hyderabad from Hyderabad. And it's a very rare event to have like this. I think this is the first hybrid event which Virendra has taken liberty of conducting. Few people physically present under the open environment in the laboratories. Hopefully not required to wear a mask. And of course, over 1,000 colleagues in Hyderabad watching this live. Shekhar, it's an honor to have you with us in Hyderabad. You're not new to Hyderabad. I think you lived in Hyderabad more than I've lived, I think. And you have been part of, I think, Uppal to Medipatnam Road. You travel every day. So Shekhar is not new to us. And again, we all take liberty of calling our head of the family by his first name. I think it's again a very rare character he has. The day when he took charge as DG, he told all of us, "Don't call me sir or don't call me Dr. Shekhar Mande." So we all call him with love Shekhar. So welcome Shekhar to Hyderabad. And again, Hyderabad is very unique that when we study in high school, we have three sciences generally like physics, chemistry, and biology. These are the three sciences we study. And Hyderabad is the only center of CSIR where three labs share the compound walls almost. A physics lab where we are currently standing, a biology lab which we have directly with us here, and of course the chemistry lab, which is the oldest of Hyderabad, and we consider ourselves big brothers of Hyderabad lab. And as Shekhar was reminding me, I think all this land was originally belonging to RL Hyderabad and was parted between the three labs. So it's nice to be addressing all of you from here. But while I don't want to take too long a time, but I would like to just share on this platform the way Shekhar has driven all of us during the most difficult times we all faced, as Virendra mentioned. I think around the February last week, we had the directors conference in Goa, and already the pandemic was looming on our heads. The first case was getting recorded, then China was under lockdown, and we had our, I think, the rare event, our directors conference in Goa. Almost the last meeting for the last 2 years, we never met directors in person. But Shekhar already gave us a direction that once we all go back, there's likely that we all should be able to take all the challenges this pandemic will throw to us. And all the labs, I think, stood up to expectations, especially labs like IICT, where we work on chemistry, CCMB, biology. We stood up during the lockdown, not a single day a lab was locked. I can assure you that you can go and ask all my students. Not a single day from March 27th or 28th, when Honorable Prime Minister almost gave us a call that it will be a lockdown, and over 100 faculty members and students put together moved into our hostels, campuses. Gates were closed, but all chemicals were bought in, and then made sure that we were second to give the first oral drug available for the country, Favipiravir. Then, of course, I'm very honored and privileged to announce that Shekhar, with your guidance, you connected us to Bharat Biotech so closely. And when this Covaxin has to be launched, the adjuvant required for that on a large scale, the process what Bharat Biotech got was little cumbersome and was not amicable for scale up. Again, I think IICT spent almost 4 months, and then we made sure that the supplies of Covaxin is not disrupted. I know more than 1,000 colleagues in NGRI IICT. We had the courtesy of Bharat Biotech extending a support through Medicover while it was against small payment, but we were able to get vaccination of all of us. I think that gave us confidence to all of us that we can work freely without fear. So, Shekhar, with your guidance, even labs like NAL, we went on to make the first PPE kit for the country. We all know when the pandemic began, India had no manufacturer of PPE kits, no manufacturer of gloves, no manufacturer of any of these personal protection equipment. And I think Jadov stood up at NAL and made sure that 1 lakh PPE kits were made with private partnership. I think that was a game changer in the entire, at least the fight we were doing with the COVID. Today, we can confidently say that I think most countries getting vaccinated almost like 30-40%. Also, some surveillance reports show that large number of people got infected and cured. We do pray and wish that India will not go through a disastrous third wave. We did have a very worst second wave. I know most of us lost very dear family members. I mean, actually, I also lost three cousins of mine in the second wave. But we do believe that the vaccine, what we learned over the last 1 year of social distance, the way we are doing today, and of course, more conscious educating the masses, I'm sure we will defeat the third wave under the leadership of Dr. Shekhar Mande and see that in 2022, New Year, we will celebrate with more excitement and all of us in a physical environment. With these few words, I again thank Virendra for making such a wonderful arrangement to interact with all the colleagues of three labs of CSIR. Many students are on the call. I also would like to place on record the kind of commitment students have done. I know in CCMB, most of the project assistants, the kind of work they have done in BSL 3 facilities without any hesitation. Actually, when the first wave came, we did not even know what is virus. Actually, today we know that with social distance and a mask, we don't require to worry too much. We are worried about surface transmission. Shekhar, thank you. You made a lot of confidence to all of us with your interaction with Pallav Bagla, I think. That I'm confidently touching all the surfaces without fear. The surface transmission is not really so much. And CSA really stood well, and all this credit goes to Shekhar and leadership he gave. Thank you, Shekhar. Thank you, Virendra.
Thank you, Dr. Chandrasekhar. Now, I will also take this privilege of being under tree to welcome the newly, though no more new, but for most of the staff of the other labs other than CSAR CCMB, Dr. Nandikuri Vinay Nandikuri is still new, and on the behalf of all of you, we welcome and wish very, very brilliant time at CCMB in coming years for him, and I invite him to give his few remarks and his new experience on riding the the you can say the bus which CSIR has started to fight against COVID.
Um, Thank you, Virendra. It's a pleasure to be here with our DGC, DGCSIR, Shaker, whom I know as Shaker only for quite some time, Chandra and Virendra. I joined here around 2 months ago. I think there was second wave was waning, and my first feeling that when I entered the airport after almost 15 months, I mean, February was the last time I traveled last year. It's like an empty space, which it was pretty different look, and I never really. That's when the gravity of how bad the COVID hits you. So it's a privilege to be a part of CCMB, and I've taken over the charge actually from Virendra 1 or 2 months ago, and it's been a learning experience to learn about all the efforts made by CSIR towards this fight on COVID. I mean, I've been part of this CSG groups where you get educated every twice a week actually for like last 8 weeks. It's been a learning experience about how many things CSIR has participated in and various institutes have participated in and how well CSIR has contributed towards fighting COVID in India. And CCMB has been a part of it, with Rakesh doing quite a lot of effort before I arrived. I hope to continue doing uh, or continue these efforts towards sequencing, sewage surveillance, air surveillance, name it, whatever the things that have been initiatives that has been started by my predecessor, Rakesh, and continue working with other CSR laboratories towards many other aspects with respect to COVID and otherwise. Um, you know, for last COVID has started around February, I mean, March around 23rd, the lockdown has started. And been a kind of an outside spectator to see the kind of efforts that have gone in by CSIR. And I've been kind of aware of it because of multiple reasons, but kind of an outside spectator to see the kind of efforts that have gone in to fighting that by CSIR. And I'm really, I'll tell you, I feel jealous about it. I used to at some point of time about the kind of efforts that have gone in and the fact that we couldn't do much from our end for whatever reasons. So now that I am part of CSR, I really hope to continue to be. I mean, I want to be part of this, and I want to really contribute in a meaningful way, not simply about COVID, for any other mega efforts and working with other labs and contribute in a meaningful way for the country and for CSIR and in general. But one thing that I have to say, this is the first time I'm visiting NGRA campus. I mean, from the gate onwards, it's such a beautiful campus. I mean, really, you guys have count yourselves like it's a beautiful campus. Congratulations. Thank you. I don't have any further things to say. Thank you.
So thank you, Vinay, for compliments. The all credit goes to the colleagues working in the different section of CSAR and GRI. Uh, I must remind that it's not only the campus is beautiful, the people of the NGRI heart is as beautiful, and science is more beautiful. So so I have again privilege of letting you know that we have with us today our beloved DGCSAR Dr. Shekhar Mande, and he has kindly agreed to address the employees and the staff of all three laboratories, making us know that how CSAR is moving forward and what is the future direction CSAR is planning to. We had been really fortunate that under his leadership, CSAR had been no more less behind than anybody or any organization globally, and we feel proud of being associated with CSAR when whole world have been fighting with COVID. Dr. Mande is known to each and everyone, but what probably many of our colleagues may not be knowing that during very difficult time when whole world is facing, Dr. Mande at his very personal level had confronted with even bigger challenges. And the leadership what he has demonstrated is inspiring. He never let any of the directors know that he had to go through very difficult time at the family front, even at the personal level of getting hospitalized, and still not leaving a stone unturned towards delivering the solution for the benefit of society and the country. So, sir, we are very proud once again to let all my colleagues know that we have a person leading from the front with us physically. And, sir, we welcome you once again and invite you to kindly deliver and your remark and the lecture.
Yeah, thank you, Viren, once again. All the three very dear senior colleagues with me here on the stage, all the dear colleagues who have joined in person and in virtual space. It's a very important occasion to be together at a moment like this. I thank Viren for arranging this hybrid meeting, as Chandra correctly pointed out. It's probably the first time that all the colleagues of the three important CSR labs in Hyderabad are joining together for a small discussion. I would like to stand both Viren and Chandra corrected. I don't want to take any credit for what CSR has done for COVID. I told you in my previous interaction with the NDRI scientists. I stand by the fact that no individual, no group, no institute can claim credit. The entire credit goes to CSIR as an organization. It's just a matter of chance that I happen to be Director General at this stage. But I'm very confident, even if there were some other Director General, CSIR would have done equally well in the COVID period. And it's because CSIR has the strength of doing things. CSIR has the spread of doing things. The amount of subject spread at CSIR is absolutely phenomenal. I was talking to our NGRI colleagues a while ago, and just to give an example once again, to think of that a ventilator would be made by a National Aerospace Laboratory is kind of unthinkable. National Aerospace Laboratory specializes in making aircrafts for the next generation, civilian aircraft, military aircraft, and so on and so forth. But how would they do ventilators? And they could do that because National Aerospace Laboratory was told, or rather they collaborated with IGIB Delhi, where there is significant expertise exists on how we breathe in and breathe out, how our lungs function, and how ventilators can assist in our breathing. With this particular expertise of the two institutes coming together, it's no wonder that actually we could do the first non-invasive ventilator in the country in a record time. And that ventilator, as all of us know, is selling extremely well. I also had a chance to tell our NGRI colleague a while ago that how everybody in CSIR stood together during the most difficult times. And I quoted example of IICT, that Chandra also mentioned that during the lockdown period, during the most difficult period, everyone in IICT moved in the campus to live, the students and the faculty and all. And Chandra made some fantastic arrangements for them, for every day taking care of them, for food and their living and everything. And that allowed us to work 24/7 and in coming up with some of the most elegant solutions for fight COVID. And Chandra already told you about Favipiravir that IICT made, or the adjuvant that goes in Covaxin that also was made by IICT. In fact, this was reflected in the parliament, none other than Parliament of India, when Mr. Jairam Ramesh stood up and he said that we should be very proud that CSIR IICT has made the adjuvant for Covaxin vaccine. You know, it's remarkable. The kind of recognition that we get from our policymakers for the efforts that we do is very heartening to come. And once again, I stand by the fact, and that's because of the strength of CSIR. CSIR has enormous strength. It has very deep strengths in many multiple different areas. It's only how do we actually put all these strength together and come up with very elegant solutions is what we need to actually sit together and introspect about. I was talking about that a while ago. So CSIR finds itself in a very unique position in the overall science and technology ecosystem in the country. If you look at the overall science and technology ecosystem in the country, on one hand, what you have since independence, you have evolved organizations like DRDO, Department of Space, Department of Atomic Energy. We all call that as a strategic sector, right? DRDO, DOE, DRDO, DAE, DOS, all of them are strategic sectors, and all of them work on some preconceived endpoints of the work. You know, DRDO has a preconceived either a fighter aircraft to be made or a missile to be made, and these are the endpoints they have already defined. And all the strategic organizations in the world, when they work on predefined endpoints, every person in the organization aligns himself or herself to that particular goal. And then whatever needs to be done to make that product, all of them divide themselves into their own areas of expertise and work toward the common goal of making that product. Now, this approach is very common in private companies. You know, in all the private companies, for example, if you take pharmaceutical companies as an example, pharmaceutical companies, if they're working on a particular drug in their mind, let us say an anti-hypertensive drug, if they're working, the goal is led to all the employees of the pharmaceutical company that in about 5 or 10 years, we have to have a good anti-hypertensive drug. And when the goal is set, everyone in the company, whatever their expertise may be, with their own expertise, they start working towards that one particular goal, right? And that's how all the strategic organizations work all around the world. So we have these three strategic organizations in the country: DRDO, Department of Atomic Energy, and Department of Space. On the other side of the spectrum, we have some fantastic organizations like the IITs, IISc, the newly created ICERs, central universities, many of the NITs, and so on and so forth. Now, these organizations, there are no strategic goal as defined by DRDO or Department of Atomic Energy, but rather the goal is defined that they have to generate quality manpower for future of India, or for future of humanity, right? There's a single goal that all these organizations have, IITs, universities, ISC, and all. But the goal is, although it's strategic, most people are left on their own, all the professors and all who are employees of these organizations, that how they are going to achieve the goal. In the process, many professors and all also do very good research work, right? I mean, ISC and all is very well known for the research work that it carries out, and is well known all over the world for that particular reason. But most of the projects that these people do, apart from training the next generation manpower, most of the research projects are essentially their self-motivated ideas and self-defined goals, what they want to do. In ISC, you cannot tell them that there is COVID and therefore you find a COVID drug. I don't think any of the ISC professors would like to be told that in COVID period you have to work on COVID drugs, or you have to work on a PPE, or you have to work on a ventilator. I don't think any ISC professor would ever appreciate being told what to do, unlike in the strategic organizations. So you have on one hand strategic organizations in the country. On the other hand, you have organizations which are not strategic nature, but nonetheless are extremely useful organizations in the overall S&T ecosystem. Now CSIR finds itself sandwiched between these two. You know, CSIR is neither this nor that. And that often leads to some sort of, I would say, confusion amongst people that what are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to do very high-end science, which is completely self-motivated, like what professors in IITs and ISC do? Or are we supposed to actually focus on making products or something like that? But to me, the confusion is unnecessary. It's completely uncalled for. Because when CSIR was formed in 1942, our first Director General Shantiswarup Bhatnagar he wrote an editorial in Nature. And in the editorial, it's very readable editorial. He wrote that on one hand, CSIR will continue to strive for the upliftment of Indian people, of the society, right? Through the science and technology solutions that what our scientists work on. So on one hand, CSIR will continue to work towards the betterment of our society. On the other hand, CSIR will also continue to excel in some fundamental science work, you know. And Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar realized, as all of us would agree, is that any solution that comes to society for its benefit, and examples are plenty today, is what we talk of CSIR, they cannot be arrived at until and unless someone has scaled up the solutions at the level that they can be implemented at a large level for the society's benefit. And of course, science and technology organizations are not sufficiently competent to scale up the solutions for society at that level. And therefore, we need the help of organizations like industries, MSMEs, startups, and all. They have the capability of scaling up and bringing it out in the society, the solutions that we come up with, right? So we need industries, MSMEs, and startups to bring benefits of science and technology to the society. But the industries and MSMEs and all, they need certain level of maturity of technologies that they can take up, right? They're generally risk averse, not only Indian industry. Industry all around the world is usually risk averse unless they have something very focused thing in their mind or something very realistic on their hands. And therefore, industry is looking for technologies that can be developed by academic institutes all over the world, right? And the technologies are then developed typically by organizations like national laboratories or universities and so on and so forth. In our case, IITs, national labs like CSIR, and so on and so forth. And therefore, there is an importance of developing technologies and working closely with the industry so that eventually society would benefit, right? So we have now seen three layers of the spectrum. On one hand, all of us agree, all the policymakers, all the politicians around the world will say that whatever work you do in your laboratories eventually must have some end goal for the society, the common man. आम जनता के लिए कुछ होना चाहिए उसकी वजह से. And for that to happen, we need help of industries. And industries would actually take technologies or particular maturity level. The technologies can be developed in labs like CSIR. And to develop those technologies, they have to be backed up by some very solid fundamental science. So we now cover the complete spectrum. Fundamental science all the way to society is a complete spectrum that we can cover. At CSIR, being sandwiched between two different kinds of organizations in the S&T milieu in the country, actually has to fulfill this entire spectrum. So in my mind, there is no confusion whether CSIR would do only fundamental work like IISc professors do, or CSIR would only continue to work on next generation aircraft or military aircraft or so on and so forth, like what DRDO does. What we do is a hybrid of both these systems. So there is both a top-down and a bottom-up approach in our science and technology what we do. And we therefore must continue to strive in having excellence in each of the topics that what we choose amongst this entire spectrum. Amongst all the activities that we do, if we commit ourselves that we are going to excel in any of those that what we have chosen, I think we'll have a very bright future. So the common shared goal of the entire CSIR family, all the scientists, all the technicians, all the students, and all the support staff, common cadre officers and all, the common shared goal is to excel in what we do. We may choose to do fundamental science, but if we choose to do fundamental science, we must ensure that we really excel in advancing the frontiers of knowledge. Our knowledge that we generate today must become part of the textbooks tomorrow. That's our commitment to CSIR. On the other side, if we say that we want to actually keep bringing benefit to society, in which case we must find avenues by which the common people continuously benefit by what we do. And the examples, some of the recent examples are the successful implementation of Aroma mission, For example, many farmers around the country are now getting directly benefited by CSI Sarvanama Mission. Those of you who you heard Prime Minister's Man Ki Baat on Sunday, he mentioned about growing apple in Manipur. And who do you think brought apple orchards to Manipur? CSR did. The IHBT Palampur, they trained farmers from Manipur. Many of these farmers went to Palampur, including the lady that the Prime Minister mentioned in his Man Ki Baat. She went and stayed in Palampur. We trained these people in the saplings of apple and how to take care of the plants. We supplied 40,000 saplings to Manipur, and then they started growing apple in districts like Ukhrul and all in Manipur. And today, what you see are apple being grown in the Manipur area. That's fantastic. So where can we have examples of organizations which boast of publishing a paper in science on one hand, at the same time bringing benefits to farmers on the other? And that's what characterizes the ethos of CSIR. That is the true spirit of CSIR. That what we choose to do must be chosen to excel in that particular area. And as long as all of us together commit to that particular common shared goal, that we are going to excel in whatever we choose to do, I think our future will be very bright. The entire country looks at CSIR as the solution providers for tomorrow. The entire country looks to CSIR to advance the frontiers of knowledge for tomorrow. The entire world looks at CSIR to bring some very valuable solutions for some of the most challenging problems that the world is facing today. All of us, let us commit towards that particular excellence, and if we do that, I have no doubt that we'll continue to do well as much as what we have done in the last 1 year or in the last 80 years. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, sir. It has been really very motivating address and the suggestion by you. And I can assure you on the behalf of the colleagues that the two end member of CSAR expectations, excellence in science and excellence in providing solution for society, we all will try to stand by. Thank you very much once again for being here with us and inspiring and motivating us. Thank you.
First, nilagay tayo sa ano. Ari, hindi ka na main.